The air that morning was sharp and heavy with the smell of metal and gunpowder. The city's main shooting range was buzzing with energy. Young men in leather jackets and polished boots strutted around, rifles slung proudly over their shoulders. Their laughter carried across the misty field as they showed off, each one eager to prove himself in front of the crowd that had gathered. The event had been advertised for weeks. Challenge the champion. The idea was simple. Anyone who could beat the reigning marksman, Hamza Khan, would walk away with a hefty prize and the glory of defeating the unbeatable. Hamza was more than a shooter. To many, he was a symbol of pride, a local celebrity. He had a tall, commanding presence, and when he spoke, people listened. His every gesture carried the arrogance of someone who had never been defeated. Amid the lively crowd, no one noticed at first when a woman entered. She wasn't dressed like the others. No stylish gear, no flashy rifle case. Just a plain scarf draped over her head, a long faded coat, and shoes so worn they looked as though they had walked miles just to get here. She moved quietly, her steps measured, her face unreadable, and then someone spotted her. "Look at that!" a boy whispered, nudging his friend. Another laughed. "Did she take the wrong turn? This isn't a grocery store." Soon the murmurs spread. Heads turned, eyes narrowed. The laughter grew bolder. The woman, however, walked straight toward the registration desk as though she heard nothing. The clerk at the table leaned back in his chair, smirking. "You here to watch, Auntie?" he asked, loud enough for the crowd to hear. "Spectators sit over there." She placed her hand gently on the table. "I'm not here to watch. I want to compete." The crowd roared with laughter. Even a few of the officials chuckled. "Compete?" the clerk repeated, mocking her. "Do you even know how to hold a gun? This isn't child's play. You'll embarrass yourself." The woman's voice didn't rise, but it carried a calm firmness. "Write my name down. The range will tell you what I can or cannot do." Something about her tone silenced a few of the chuckles, but most people continued to sneer. The clerk hesitated, then shrugged and scribbled her name. "Fine, don't say I didn't warn you." She stepped aside, and the competition began. One by one, the shooters took their positions. Young men lifted their polished rifles, adjusted their stances, and fired. Some hit the target, earning claps and whistles. Others missed and became the subject of ridicule. The energy was high, a mixture of excitement and mockery. Finally, Hamza Khan stepped forward. His friends slapped his back as if the victory were already his. The air shifted. People leaned closer. Phones came out to record the moment. Hamza gripped his sleek, custom-made rifle. He took his position with the confidence of someone who had done this 1,000 times. The silence was thick. The first shot, bullseye. The second, bullseye. The third, fourth, and fifth, all clean hits, each one faster than the last. Then he performed his signature move, the one everyone had been waiting for. He fired 3 shots in rapid succession, so quick that the sound almost merged into one. When the smoke cleared, the bullets had torn into the same spot, forming a single jagged hole on the target. The crowd exploded. Applause, cheers, chants of his name. "Hamza! Hamza!" He lowered his rifle with a cocky grin, turning toward the crowd as if to say, who else could do this? It seemed impossible that anyone could top him. And then, quietly, the announcer called the next name. The laughter returned at once. "Is she really going to try? This is going to be a joke. Get the cameras ready. This will be fun." The woman stepped forward. She picked up a rifle, an old borrowed one, its wooden stock scratched and faded. Compared to Hamza's weapon, it looked like a relic. She ran her hand over it gently, almost with affection, then lifted it into position. The crowd jeered. "Careful, Grandma, it might be too heavy for you," someone shouted. Another whistled mockingly, but she didn't flinch. Her breathing slowed. Her eyes narrowed. For a moment, the noise of the crowd seemed to fade into silence. The world shrank to nothing but her, the rifle, and the target in the distance. She inhaled, held her breath. Her finger touched the trigger. And then, the sound of her first shot cracked through the cold morning air. The bullet tore into the target with startling precision. The crowd, which had been ready to laugh, suddenly went quiet. A bullseye. The officials leaned forward, checking the mark. Whispers rippled across the field. Some thought it was luck. Others crossed their arms, waiting for her to fail the next one. She reloaded, steady as stone. Her breathing was slow, her movements controlled. almost graceful. She raised the rifle again, and without hesitation fired her second shot. Another bullseye. This time, the silence was heavier. The smirks began to fade. People who had been preparing to mock her now found themselves holding their breath. Hamza Khan's grin stiffened slightly, but he folded his arms, pretending not to care. The third shot, bullseye. The fourth, bullseye. By the fifth shot, the crowd erupted, not in laughter but in disbelief. A wave of gasps, shouts, and exclamations rolled through the range. She had matched Hamza's streak, and she had done it with a weapon far older and less advanced than his. Then came the moment of truth. The announcer, now visibly shaken, called for her final attempt. If she wanted to break the champion's record, she would have to perform the impossible, something no one else had ever dared to try, the triple shot. The woman closed her eyes for a moment. Perhaps she was remembering something, perhaps she was centering herself. Then she opened them again, sharp and clear. She adjusted her stance, held the rifle firmly, and in a fluid motion. 3 shots fired so quickly that the echoes overlapped. The crowd stood frozen, eyes locked on the target. When the smoke cleared, there was a stunned silence. All 3 bullets had landed almost exactly in the same spot, tearing into Hamza Khan's previous mark, splitting it wider. She had not only matched his record, she had broken it. The silence lasted only a moment before it exploded into chaos. Some people cheered wildly, others screamed in shock, and many simply stood there, unable to believe what they had witnessed. Hamza Khan's face turned pale. His pride, his arrogance, his years of glory, all shattered in a matter of seconds, by a woman no one had taken seriously. The officials declared the result. "The new champion is her!" The woman lowered her rifle slowly, her expression calm. She did not raise her arms in victory, did not boast, did not even smile. She simply nodded, as though this outcome had always been inevitable. Someone from the crowd finally shouted, "Who are you?" She looked at them, her eyes steady. "I am no one special," she said quietly. "Just a woman who practiced when no one was watching." And then she turned and began to walk away, leaving behind stunned silence and a shaken champion. That day, the crowd learned a lesson they would never forget. Never underestimate someone because of their appearance, their gender, or their simplicity. True skill, discipline, and courage need no fancy clothes or expensive tools. The woman's victory was not just about breaking a record. It was about breaking the wall of doubt, mockery, and prejudice that so many face. She proved that greatness often hides in places we ignore. If this story stirred something in you, remember, somewhere inside, you hold a strength the world may not recognize yet. People may doubt you, mock you, or tell you that you don't belong. Let them. Keep working, keep practicing, keep believing. One day when the moment comes, your first shot might be the one that silences every doubt. So ask yourself today, what's your target, and when will you take your shot?